So it's been a while and it is Friday night and I have an unboxing and I need a wine to go with my steak. My steak is resting. It's a dry aged steak, New York strip. I'm really excited. So I do want a nice red wine with it. Which one I don't know. So I think I'm just gonna open something out of this unboxing. At least that's the idea. 1, 2, 4 different places. 3 from Finger Lakes, 1 J.J. Buckley. So this is Sheldrake's 2020 Cab Franc. So really good Cab Franc up in the Finger Lakes. Maybe lighter stylistically, but Cab Franc typically is lighter. It is the parent to Cab Sauv. Cab Sauv is the cross section of, well, the parents are Cabernet Franc grape and Sauvignon Blanc, hence Cabernet Sauvignon. But anyway, although it's not a hybrid, the cross of those two grapes makes a much larger wine than obviously Cab Franc. So just how it happened. Aged dry Riesling 2012. So always looking for the aged whites, aged Riesling, absolutely in that sweet spot. Another Finger Lakes from Damiani. Their 2020 Cabernet is phenomenal. It was a riper vintage in what they call the Banana Belt area of where these vineyards are in the Finger Lakes. And these are fantastic. They're not cheap, unfortunately, but they are so reminiscent of what you can do in Napa and Sonoma, and to be able to do this in the Finger Lakes has been great. And I think I've already waxed poetic about Damiani's and their Cabernets in certain vintages. 12, 20, the 24 vintage is being heralded as an extremely hot vintage, and I'm curious at how ripe the red wines got in the Finger Lakes. So it'll be interesting to see. Next one, I got 6 wines from Silver Thread. So this is their 2023 Doyle Fournier. It's one of the older vineyards for Riesling in the Finger Lakes. This is their 2023. So I do like having some younger Rieslings as well as aged. Another 2023. This is from the Gridley Bluff. So they do a lot of single vineyard. Similar to how Forge does it. Forge Cellars in the Finger Lakes has even more. And this is their estate 2023. So 3 of their 2023 Rieslings. I don't know much about that vintage. I did also get a semi-dry of the 2023. It's not very, very sweet. Just a touch of residual sugar to balance out the acidity, and it just goes well with certain cuisines. Spicy food, Thai food, chicken wings, and yeah, even like Mexican or something along those lines, but something with some kick, some heat. I got one of their dry rosés, and this one is made from Pinot Noir grape. It did make me think, I've not really had a lot of Pinot, or I can't even remember if I've had a Pinot from Silver Thread, and I'd like to try a few of their Pinots, and a current vintage and an aged version, so I will be reaching out to them about that. They do make a pretty darn good sparkler, and this is Blanc de Blanc, so this is 100% Chardonnay, made in the traditional Champagne method traditional, and probably some residual sugar, which they call the dosage. I'm sorry, not residual sugar. They probably add some amount of sugar in what they call the dosage, so it's not so bone dry. Most champagnes have some level of sugar to be added to the bottle to start that second fermentation for the bubbles. That's pretty standard, and you just don't want to overdo it. I think when you have a Riesling sparkle, you absolutely need to, because it is then so difficult to drink, so acidic and dry. It's just very difficult. So don't know what this one is, but I'm pretty sure I had a sparkler from them and it was great. It's not my favorite sparkler from the Finger Lakes, but I do really enjoy it. And that's a Chardonnay, and I do prefer my sparkling wines to be 100% Chardonnay. So those are the 3 Finger Lakes. I think this is not J.J. Buckley, this is Obsidian. So a lot of these are going to be very similar. So this is their 2022 Volcanic Cabernet Sauvignon. They're standard, $35-ish. I brought this to a St. Patrick's Day party recently, and somebody tried, they're like, wow, what is this? And I said, it's a Cabernet called Obsidian, and you started trying to take a picture, and I said, don't even bother. I don't see this anywhere anymore. So it's pretty much wine list only unless you get lucky and find it somewhere. So I did tell him that, unfortunately. I didn't want to break his heart, but that is the truth of it. So 2022, these are all 22s, and I don't remember how great the California 2022 vintage is, but these wines have been fantastic every year I've tried them. First year I tried them was in 17, which was not the greatest vintage in the Finger Lakes, but I'm sorry, for cabs in California, but this 2017 Obsidian was amazing. And they called it something else then. Now they've renamed it the Volcanic Estate. So this is their high end. The 2022, this is the Leaf. So for them to have made this wine in the 2022 vintage means the vintage must have been great. And I'm pretty sure it was great. The only vintage I would skip is the Fire vintage, which was 20 or 21, and now I'm blanking. But one of those vintages got a lot of smoke taint from all those California fires. So this is called the Leaf. And I did have the 2019 recently. It was fantastic. This is the 2022. Probably let it sit for a number of years before I do open it. But it's their sort of highest end Cabernet. It looks like there's 2 Pinots in here. And this is, yes. Of course, I can't see which Pinot. Something Hill here. And it's probably current vintage. Yes, and it is current vintage. So I do like having some Pinot Noirs. They make a pretty solid one. That's a little bit more spice than I really loved, at least in the vintage before. But I like it enough. Oh, on the side here. The bench. So this is the bench Pinot Noir. This is the 2023. Oh, and this is something different. So these are 2 different Pinot Noirs. So this must be a slightly high. This must be a standard lower end. Not that it means anything. This is from the Poseidon Vineyard in Carneros. So this is from Carneros, and this one is from somewhere else, and I can't see where because I don't have my light. Oh, this is also Carneros, Poseidon, and difficult to read. So probably different Pinots. Yeah, bottles look different. So yeah, very similar, but bottles are different. So that is the unboxing. I think I had some wine from J.J. Buckley, but maybe I am off. I don't think I have 12 bottles yet. And just the other bottle I purchased, Casa Noble's Añejo. So I did talk about their La Marquise recently, and it was very caramelish. Casa Noble ages their tequila in French oak, and it does, you do feel it. So you do feel more of an oak impact in their wines, but it's still fantastic. So I am just going to open up a Damiani 20 just because it's so good, and it will go amazingly with steak. And it's not this big unctuous cap, but it is very full body. It is full bodied. It's just not a beast. The alcohol's in check, the acidity's in check, and it just makes for a great Cabernet that you just can't believe is made up there in that climate. But really, they're reds and that I've noticed in vintages that are not really warm do tend to be a little bit on the lighter side. I can smell this out of the bottle. It just has an amazing aroma, and it even pours pretty dark. I mean, kudos to them for producing this wine. It's not overly oaky or anything. It's blackberry. This is pop and pour. This deserves a good 1 hour decant, if not 2. No green pepper, no weird off aromas. It smells like ripe fruit. And it's not a lot, you can't really feel that it's 5 years old already though. Has a delicious factor, and like I said, it's not heavy. You feel the acidity, you feel the tannin. It's all in good balance. It's a very balanced but bold Cabernet that with a decant is even better. It's a little muted on me right this moment because I did just pop and pour it. This one even has a pretty silky texture. little bit of baking spice, and I'm getting blackberries right now. Those are the two predominant flavors. And the acidity's there. It's making my mouth water, sides of my mouth. It's just good. So, in 10 minutes, steak should be perfectly rested, ready to dive into it with this wine. I have a couple glasses and call it a night with that. So I will have some of this. I do have two more really great tequilas that I will probably open up, just like I did with the ones I did open this with two others. One was my favorite tequila of all time. In the article I had written in 2005 about tequila, it was what I rated #1. Now that tequila no longer is made in that same place, what's called a NOM, that distillery. I'm not sure if someone else bought it or whatever it was, but at that time it was phenomenally good. There was also Jose Cuervo's Reserva de la Familia. Like, oh, what do you mean Jose Cuervo? Cuervo's drunk. Well, this was Jose Cuervo's Reserva de la Familia, which at the time was about $80. Now it's near $200. This is the 04 vintage. They do vintages. They have a hand-painted box designed by some Mexican artist each year. I really liked the 04 and I bought a number of them. I still think I have a couple left. After trying them recently, and they don't age in bottle, they stay as is. Should be no degradation in flavors. I guess there could have been, but I don't remember. But I remember it being a little bit better. Maybe some of the tequilas now are just, some of the good tequilas are just better. Don't really know. But I mean, I'm looking at some tequilas now that I've had, and I remember that were phenomenal. So, all that to say that I might be doing another tequila video. Final sip. Great stuff. Can't really recommend you. I don't know if you could even go out and purchase any of this stuff. This might just be wine list only, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But if you ever do travel up to the Finger Lakes, I do highly recommend it for red or white wine drinkers. Mostly you will enjoy Rieslings, but certain wineries really do well with red, Damiani being my favorite up there to date. But there's others too. All right. Have a good night, and it's dinner time.